wanting more answers. With that, I want to tell y'all thank you once again. We've all been through a few of these storms together, and this is just another opportunity for us to make things better than they were before. And so I'm really proud of the way things are going here, and thank y'all for your service, not only in those times of emergency, but just every day. Thank y'all for that as a longtime citizen of this great city. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer and let her give you a few details. I promise you it's a very short presentation.
It's actually titled Short Presentation. I promise. I'm going to try to be pretty quick, but we just want to give you some details on the program so that you can better answer some of the questions that are coming in and help people to want to apply for the program. We are looking for more applicants. The total allocation in the state of Texas, you've heard this a couple of times, it's a little over $1 billion. HUD identified some most impacted zip codes and counties, and all three of our counties in this region fall into a HUD most impacted county. So Jefferson, Orange, and Hardin are all three on there. The rules state that 80% of our funds of the 1.1 billion have to be spent in those HUD impacted, most impacted distressed counties or zip codes. So that's good for us. In addition, one of the things that's a little bit different this time around compared to previous storms is that we have to spend 70% on low to moderate income households, but that leaves about 30% for those persons who may fall right over that low to moderate income cap. So where that's been kind of a game breaker before, there's a little bit more room to help other people. The allocation for Southeast Texas, as Sean mentioned, is $265,373,503. We began by having several community leader meetings and stakeholder meetings to kind of get the word out about the program, and now we're following those up. One of the things that we want to ask and request is to work with you guys on potentially putting on an intake event here in the city of Groves. If we could partner with you and set up a location, that way we could have you help market it. We found that when the city actually helps to market the event, it's coming from a trusted source, and we get a better bang for our buck. We get more applicants that show up to these things. The recovery page, recovery.texas.gov, Rhonda told you about it a minute ago, but it really is a fantastic resource for a lot of things. It's going to have all of our office locations and hours available on the website. It will also have a photo of each building so that applicants know what they're walking into, if it's the right building or not. And it has a navigational system on there to show how to get directions to the office. In addition, anytime we do intake events, we post those on our website as well so that people know that that's upcoming. Our offices, as Rhonda mentioned, 505 Orleans is our main regional office. We are open there Monday through Friday from 8 to 6 and on Saturdays from 8 to 4. But we also have 4 satellite locations, one in the city of Port Arthur, and that one's at the Economic Development Center from Tuesday to Thursdays, 9 to 4. And then we're also in at the Orange County Expo Center, and then in Hardin County we're at 2 different locations, one in Rose City and one in Sour Lake. So outreach, we've started doing a lot of outreach because we're trying to get as many applicants as we can. Plus we want each local municipality to understand that we still have funding available. We're still looking for applicants, and if you've got people you know of in your area, please encourage them to apply. If we did end up doing some sort of partnership intake event, we have done this in the city of Orange. We've done it in Vidor.
Beaumont.
Thank you, Beaumont. I'm drawing a blank and they're coming with it. But we've done it in several cities thus far, and we have actually a couple that we've set up now for the city of Nederland and
Kuntz.
Thank you, Kuntz. So we've got a bunch of them. Thank you. A bunch of them coming up. One of the things we do when we do these intake sessions is we create a flyer for the intake event, and then we do some canvassing that is directed in the neighborhoods that are surrounding the event. And so we also ask for your help in, is there streets you know of in your area that we really should address? Is there anywhere you know that we should go to? That sort of thing. So it's a working together thing, and it really does produce applications. So for the eligibility for this program, applicants have to have a photo ID. It just has to be a valid state issued ID. It does not have to be a US ID, it just has to be valid. For income, we look at the latest tax return. However, there are some applicants that do not file taxes because they have an exemption. That doesn't keep them from being eligible, we just have to calculate their income a little differently, and we have to gather any kind of retirement benefits or social security benefits that they may get, to make sure that they fit under there. For ownership, we look at property tax records to see who's making the payment. We can accept a deed or any other form of title. New to what we can accept is a contract for deed. So the rules have sort of been reevaluated recently, and now we just have to prove ownership at the time of the application. There does need to be an interest at the time of the storm, but as long as we can prove that the ownership is solidified by the time of the application, and that they can prove that it was their principal residency at the time of the storm, then that covers the ownership. For primary residency, the first thing we look at is the 2017 homestead exemption. That's our best bet. But without that, applicants can do a primary residency affidavit, and we can use either a bank statement or a utility bill, other documentation that shows the billing cycle was from the time of the storm, and that the property owner is the person that's on there, and that it's the damaged address. We also do a check for child support and taxes. We run that through the AG's office. Everything has to be current. However, they can be on a payment plan. So as long as they're current on a payment plan, they can still be eligible. We have to have evidence of Harvey damage, because this is a Harvey-related project. So the first thing we look at is if they did get a FEMA, SBA, or insurance award, because that means that a certified inspector has already gone out and established that there was hurricane damage. However, without that, still eligible because we do our own inspection report as well, and we can notate damage from Harvey during that inspection. And then lastly, verification of flood insurance. There are 2 times when an applicant can be determined ineligible based on not having flood insurance coverage in this program. One of those is if they are above 120% of the area median family income. 50 to 80% and below is considered low to moderate income. And as I mentioned earlier, we have about 30% of our funds we can spend on above 80%. So even that 80 to 120 wouldn't fall into this range. But if you're above 120% of the AMFI, and you didn't have flood insurance, then you would not be able to participate in the program.
If it was required, if it was required for you to have flood insurance.
If it was required, if you lived in an area that required flood insurance. So yes, that's true, sorry. And then the other way is if they received some previous assistance, maybe from a previous storm that required them as part of receiving the assistance to maintain flood insurance, and then they failed to maintain the flood insurance and Harvey came through, then they would not be eligible. So eligible activities. This is really a rehabilitation and reconstruction program, which really means we either go in and remodel or we do a demo and rebuild. We can do replacement of manufactured housing units. We do not repair them, but we can do a demo and rebuild of a new stick-built home on site. The other 5 activities there are sort of site specific. It kind of depends on if the applicant needs them, but we can do them along